Now, enter the courtroom of Judge Mathis. Plaintiff Kathy Torrance Taylor met the defendant at a casino where he worked, and she thought they would be a good match because he said he liked thick women. Kathy admits that she and the defendant were intimate once, but it wasn't all that, so it never happened again. She's suing him today for the cost of an airline ticket. Defendant Michael Adams says when he met Kathy, she said she hadn't been with a man in 5 years, so he helped her out by having sex with her. But he never went back for more. Michael insists he doesn't owe Kathy anything.
All right, and ma'am, you're suing your former boyfriend for $425 for the cost of an airline ticket?
Wasn't boyfriend.
It wasn't
All
boyfriend.
right, it says lover here. I was trying to pretty it up. So you all just, what is it? You just lay up? You don't go together?
No.
What?
It wasn't even a layup.
All right. All right, you've all been intimate in the past?
Yes.
Okay, well, that's what I'm
It
trying
wasn't
to
all that,
clarify.
It wasn't
Without
like
a
that,
commitment. Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, you tell me what you want me to know today.
I met Mr. Michael through my cousin and her husband going to the casino because he's a gambler and he works there. So, I went up there with my cousin and met him and kind of thought he was a nice guy and whatever. And he came on, he was like, hey, so what kind of guy you like? And I say, I like a guy that's kind of friendly and,
Good
cool,
personality.
somebody I can go out with and have fun with, nothing really serious or whatever. While I'm up there, I'm like, well, I need something to eat. Where's the snack bar? And he was like, yeah, I like a thick girl. I said, yeah, I can get like this from looking at no groceries. I like to eat.
That's right.
Anyway, so he was like, what do you like to do? I said, well, I ride motorcycles. I'm from a motorcycle club, and everybody called me special. I like to treat people the way that I want to be treated, and that's special. And I thought I was talking to someone that knew how to treat a woman special, but that wasn't the case. The way he wasn't a bad person, but it's just after everything kind of got down to it to where it was like I found out he had a real bad gambling problem. He'll bet on a pair of roaches running down the hallway. if they was gonna get some money, he'll bet on
Ask her,
them.
did she make money? Did you make money?
He betted one bet for me and taught me how to
make money?
Make some horses run. And so I did win one time with him betting, but I'm not a big gambler. I like to spend my money in the grocery
So what
stores
happened to the friendship?
Well, after
You all
everything
did
kind
have
of
intimacy together, and so I'm trying to understand. It was just once, twice?
once.
Okay.
She wasn't
all right.
the honor.
And once was enough.
Yeah, right.
And once
well,
was enough.
You wanted all of this.
Go ahead, sir. Let me hear from you.
Let me give you a background, Your Honor. She's a drama queen.
I'm the best drama queen you ever seen.
That's enough, ma'am. Let him speak. Let him speak.
I met her through mutual friends, trying to do a friend a favor, help her out. And, she's...
Help her out how?
Help her out, I just, kind of looked out for her. I am a gentleman,
Looked out for her how?
It was kind of simple, I got her dinner, took her out a couple of times,
You ate too, right?
Yeah, but
All right.
yeah. But Your Honor, she's a drinker. She's a sipper.
I guess what I'm getting to, I'm waiting to hear how you helped her any differently than you would any other person that you just go to dinner with and take the tab. I mean, if we go to dinner and you take the tab, I promise you, you're not doing a lot to help me out.
That's correct, but she's a sipper, Your Honor.
Okay.
She's drinking tequila, and next thing you stand up, the dinner's over, and she's still sitting there. You got, so now you got to go over, be a gentleman, and help her out, help her get up.
No, you have to help
saying
me
she
up
was
because
drunk?
of my injuries.
Yes, sir, intoxicated.
No, Mike, you ain't never seen me
That
drunk.
was before her injury?
The injury was when I met her. It was prior to.
Okay, so she probably needed help because of her injury.
No, sir, it wasn't.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
How
right.
else did you help her? Did you pay her rent?
No.
Well, did you help her with a car note?
No.
Well, you ain't done nothing.
That part right
Let me
there.
help you out.
He must be talking about the layup,
Yeah, the layup.
not the three-pointer.
She's laughing.
Well, Your Honor, even that, she told me she had been with a man in about 5 years. Hey, I just, gave her obligated man duty. I'm helping her out. It wasn't all that. I could have kept going.
She only let you help her out once, though.
No, Your Honor. It wasn't that she only let me help her out once. I didn't want to go back.
Tell me about this airline ticket you're suing
Okay, my
him
aunt
for.
died in June, so we had just recently met though when my aunt passed. So he was like, "Well, I have a friend that has buddy passes," and I was like, "Okay," because I checked online and the tickets was $700, $900 for a round trip spur of the moment. So he was like, "Okay, well I can get you this ticket for $425, and we'll get you there, and you won't have no problem, and she'll look out for you, and everything will be done."
A buddy pass for $425?
Yes.
Wasn't
I was
too
like,
much of
okay.
a buddy. Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
I know.
Go
So
ahead.
he told me to put $325 on a prepaid loadable card. So I put $325 on here, took it to his job, gave him the extra $100 in cash. He, in turn, called in. They got me the reservation number and everything. So when I called and checked on the reservations, they said that the reservations had been made, but the payment didn't go through because the credit card wasn't no good. I, in turn, called him and said, "Hey, what's happening?" "Oh, I'll check on it for you." So after checking on it, then they was like, "Well, we're going to put you on a red eye." Red eye ain't going to get me there. It's going to get me there at the exact time of the funeral, and I still would have missed the funeral. So my thing was, no, I don't want to take that. Just give me my money back. "Oh, okay, well, we'll get your money back." "You're going to get my money back?" "Yes." So he contacted whoever he had to contact, and they said in 7 days. That 7 days became 14 days.
Okay.
Then 14 became 21. So I kind of pulled in with him to keep him from leaving with my money. So that's how we end up getting intimate. So, and then it was just
You
like...
still haven't gotten your money.
No, still ain't got it. That's why I ain't went back, because I felt like that one time
So he
wasn't
tricked
worth
you
it.
out your money and your loving.
Oh, wow. That part right there.
So let me hear from you.
Okay, she said that her aunt died, she needed a ticket. Okay, I told her I would get her a ticket. It'd be a buddy pass. Okay, first of all, I told her it'd be no refunds when I got her the pass. She wanted to leave
No, you
out.
didn't. You
She
never
wanted to
said
leave
that.
that Friday. They tried to get her out that Thursday, but they was unable to. They called her that Friday morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, and said, "Look, your plane leaves at 11 o'clock. You're leaving out of Burbank Airport."
Who did that?
I called her up. Okay, they called me up. I put her on the three-way, and I told you your plane leaves
Three-way with whom?
with her and my friend that worked for the airlines.
Your friend that works for the
Yes.
airlines. You recall that?
Nope.
You've never been on the phone with a third party regarding a flight?
She's
No.
crazy.
Okay, good enough.
No.
She's crazy.
Oh, you crazy.
Okay, Your Honor. I called her up at 7 o'clock in the morning. I told her your plane leaves at 11 o'clock to go to Burbank Airport. Here's a confirmation number, and all you have to do is just show them the confirmation number. You'll fly out. She goes ballistic crazy. I don't know where Burbank Airport is. How can I get there? I don't know anything about it. So my friend told her, well, just come out your front door. We'll send a shuttle to pick you up. We'll send a shuttle to pick you up when you get back. I don't want to go that way. I'm not going. So they said, okay, well, let's go to Long Beach Airport. Same thing. She goes ballistically crazy. She doesn't want to go. She all drama. It's 7 o'clock
I got
in the morning.
that point. Let's get to the money. Did you charge her $425 for a buddy pass?
That's what we charged her.
Do you have proof of that? I've used dozens of family buddy passes over the last 40 years.
I don't have any
I think
evidence-
you
I
tried
don't
to
have any
scam
evidence showing- I
her.
have
You
a
say you were
witness
trying to help her. Instead, I think you were scamming her.
I wasn't scamming. I have a witness statement right here stating that
That
she
said
had
the amount. That said the amount
doesn't
of
say
the
the
buddy
amount. It
pass.
says that
I know
amount.
it
It show-
doesn't. You're a scam artist. Don't go. You ain't helping
I'm not
nobody.
scam artist.
Right
I
there.
delivered, Your Honor. I got her.
You ain't delivered nothing but
I
a
got her the
scam.
pass to go.
$425 for the plaintiff. He tried to scam me out your
didn't
money,
scam her.
but I won't let him. Good day.
She wasn't scammed. Don't sit there and lie. You were not scammed. Sit there and lie.
That was
You got a
a
pass
scam.
to go. You
I
didn't even
get
want to
no
go.
I didn't get no money or
You
no
had
buddy
so much
pass.
drama.
That
You
was
was a drama
that
queen.
Was it.
Ain't no,
That was
that was
it.
it. Nothing.
That was
Nothing.
it. That's all right. You like
Go have another chicken. I like it. Please. You got the wrong one, babe. You got the wrong one.
Plaintiff Joelle Siegler went to an AA meeting to learn about alcoholism, and that's where she met the defendant. Joelle claims she and the defendant became good friends, but now they are estranged. Joelle is suing her former friend for rent and breach of contract. Defendant Holly Wright went to AA because she was an alcoholic, and she ended up marrying an addict as well. Holly says although she cleaned up, her husband didn't, and started using heroin behind her back, and as a result, he's currently in prison awaiting trial for murder. Holly's countersuing for breach of contract.
Start with you.
Thank you so much for hearing my case. I am a huge fan.
Thank you.
I used to watch your show a lot, but now that I don't work, I watch it all the time.
All right.
The person that I'm suing here today is not the Holly that I knew, that I met. In 2008, I was going to a 12-step program recovery group, and I sat in the back row behind the guy with the big hat.
What's addiction, if you want to mention?
Oh, I don't have one. I'm an unforgiving, judgmental enabler. I did not understand the disease at all.
Oh, that's why you went.
That's why I went.
Right.
And I sat in the back row behind a guy with a big hat. Holly was in the front row. She was bubbly, she was funny, she was optimistic, successful. Front row of life, of the meeting. She's everything I'm not. And I kept up with her for a couple of years, and the person that I'm suing today is devastated. She's crushed. She's pessimistic, angry, and she lost her job. She was unable to pay rent, which is my lawsuit. Her husband, ex-husband, has been charged with capital murder and things like that. And if anybody deserves to fall off the wagon, and she has been strong through this whole process, I don't want to be the one to push her off the wagon.
All right, let me hear from you, ma'am. A little background, if you like.
I had a struggle in my life, and approximately 4 years ago, I found my road to recovery.
Good.
My addiction of choice was alcohol, and I was at a lonely, desperate place, and I found wonderful friends, a wonderful life. I met a man that I was in recovery with who I was not aware at the time or for the last 2 years that had a drug addiction as well as alcohol. And my life has started to change. The last year and a half, he's been battling with, he started off with prescription and then started drinking, and unbeknownst to me, started using heroin. And,
Pills, liquor, and heroin.
Correct.
He was getting high than a...
That's a new high.
Getting high, Doc. Go ahead.
Yeah, he don't play. You know, he doesn't do things halfway.
I see. Go ahead.
So I received a phone call from a TV network that had videotaped him. He had died on the streets, and they brought him back to life. And that's when my bottom dropped out. It started in January because I am not familiar with that form of addiction. In other words, I kicked him out of the house, and growing up in this program, I believe that we do not give up on people. I found my way back, and I believed that someday he would find his way back. So I had faith, but he wasn't going to do it in my house. Throughout the last few months, he's robbed the house. He's taken everything that I own. Every single thing that I've had my whole life is gone. And back in April of this year, he again robbed my house. And that night that he robbed my house, I was able to see the truth that this man that I am loving and standing behind is now gone.
So I've dealt with a lot of drug addicts as well, and my approach is that, wait till they want to change. Mm-hmm. Don't come around me till you want to change. And I know you're not going to change until you're ready to change. You can't change anybody. You can beg, you can plead, you can stand in for them, you can support them, you can give them your money, you can let them rob you over and over. But they're not going to change until they say, I'm done, I'm finished with this, I'm ready to change. All right, so you dealt with this, and where's he now?
See, the thing is, the most important thing is he's master manipulator. Us is addicts. When I kept letting him back in, it was, I'm going to stay sober, and he would give me money and do things for me to actually pay for the bills and support. So it wasn't just like, oh, you robbed me, come back. Right now, a day after this episode, the police came into my house, like 20 police officers, and he is currently being charged with murder. He got indicted for it, and that was enough for me to let go.
How did that happen? What allegedly happened?
He had a relationship with our neighbor, which I knew that he had borrowed money from our neighbor, and he supposedly hit this man over the head, duct taped him, and put him in the trunk of a car and left him in a car for 7 days at Walmart.
Wow. What kind of torture is that? All right. You want to tell me about the rent you're suing her about and the breach of contract?
I do. In 2011, I was going to get married again and move. My neighbors are her sponsors, and they asked me if I was interested in renting my little house. And I said, no way. After watching your show, why would anybody rent a house to anybody? But they said, would you like to rent it to Holly? And I said, yes, I'm impressed by her, have been since the beginning. I want to be a part of her success. And I thought, I will rent to Holly. And we do. We invent a little lease, and it starts, she moved in the last weekend of July of 2011. In October, I need to have a tree removed. It's interfering with air conditioning, and it was going to cost $300 for a tree trimming service to remove. Her ex-husband offered, they will cut the tree down if I will take $300 off of their November rent. And I guess good judgment, I agreed to this. I have an email where she said, we're going to do this.
Let's see it, please.
Obviously, while we're here, that never happened. There was all kinds of I'm gonna, and the chainsaw broke and whatever, but
We did get the tree down
no.
to 9 feet tall.
Ma'am, speak to me.
No.
You did?
Yeah, like 4 months later.
All right,
It was
but you
late.
did. Okay, go ahead.
They didn't. I have pictures of, I paid a tree service to remove the tree last month, so they did. But anyway, they did not do $300 worth of tree trimming, which I allowed on the November rent. So that's the breach of contract part of my suit.
And the other amount?
Is rent.
All right, for what months?
I find out in February that Holly's not working and doesn't have money for March rent. I didn't know she was not working at this time. I
What
get a
month
text.
does she owe for, ma'am?
She owes for March. She owes
How much per month?
$650. We have a
right.
lease. She owes a portion of April. She paid $300, so she owes $350 for April. And I'm suing for the month of May. I don't feel like I got a proper 30-day notice with
When
her.
did you get the notice?
The 28th of April.
Wait
When
a
did she
second.
move? Hold on, ma'am. When did she move?
The 5th of May.
Yeah, you're right then. And
Well-
you want the whole month? Is that what you're saying? For May, obviously?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, ma'am.
First of all, when I lost my job, it was in January because of my husband
All right,
going
good enough.
crazy.
What else?
Well, the thing is, she knew that I was out of my job, and she
Ma'am,
knew that
let's talk about whether you owe.
I do not owe for May. It was under a signed contract that's why I moved out in May, so I wouldn't owe May's rent.
You have a contract.
Well, whatever IOU that I gave to her.
No, you have to have your evidence.
I don't have anything. The police took everything.
Okay, and you don't agree, right?
Not really. I'm so sorry. I don't. I'm so sorry.
She doesn't agree and you don't have evidence.
The police officers took everything from my house. I don't have anything, any
They
paperwork.
took every piece of paper from your house?
They took the keys to the locks.
Yes.
Okay. And with regard to the other months?
I do owe. I've never denied.
And when did you give her notice?
She had asked me how soon I can get out at the end of April, about 2 weeks after my husband's being charged for murder.
She asked you to move?
Yes.
Is that true?
No, sir. We met in her kitchen, and I went to town to visit with her and
Did
her
you ask
sponsor.
her to move or not?
I asked her to pay her rent.
Did you ask her to move? That was my question.
I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, I will agree with you then.
She
I'll
bought
accept your explanation. $1,000 for a breach of contract is for what, ma'am?
Because I never denied owing her this money. I have been going through, I have stayed sober.
I got that, ma'am. The breach of contract, how does she owe you?
I told her that I would pay her by May of 2014.
So how does she owe you if you...
Because she's...
Your claim is dismissed, and I'll grant you, ma'am, for March and April. You weren't sure about May. Everything except for the $650. So that would be $1,950 minus $650 equals
$1,300.
everything except for May. Have a good day. Judging
Thank
for the
you.
plaintiff,
Thank
and
you.
yours is dismissed.
I want her to get her life back, the life that she had when I met her. I wish happiness for her. I really, really do.
I'm not saying that we're not friends, but I'm just saying we need to really take a look at, you know, what I have gone through and what kind of person does this kind of stuff to somebody that they love. I thought you were there. I thought you had my back. You're the one person I counted on.
I thought I was there with you until the end.
Plaintiff Mr. Fees was friends with the defendant in college, and they partied constantly. Mr. claims he and the plaintiff often got into mischief together. And once, after losing a bet, the defendant was forced to kiss Mr.'s bare behind. Mr. is suing because he loaned the defendant money for a truck and has yet to be repaid. Defendant Robert Wallowich admits that he was forced to kiss Mr.'s rear end after losing a bet and says someone even posted a picture of it on Facebook. Robert admits that he borrowed money from Mr., but says it was 4 years ago and he feels the contract should be voided.
State your name.
Mr. Fees?
What's your first name, Mr. Fees?
Mr., Your Honor.
Mr. is your first name?
Yes, Your Honor.
Your government name or your street name?
It's my legal name.
Government name?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, it's nothing funny. Your mother named you Mr.?
No, Your Honor.
What is your street name?
I was young, lost a bet. Things happen.
You had to change your name because you lost a bet?
Well, it really wasn't even much of a bet. It was more so this old elderly woman challenged me to change my name, and I did it.
She challenged you to go to the courthouse and change your name to Mr.
Well, she said I didn't have the fortitude, Your Honor, and I said, okay.
She challenged you, dared
yes.
you.
And I said, well, I'm going to do it, and I'm a man of my word, so I did. She doesn't know.
How old were you when you did that?
Oh, I don't know, 20, 21, 22.
Okay, that explains it. All right. How much you drank?
At that time, none.
You hadn't had anything to drink?
No.
I mean, that's great. I mean, you get maximum respect everywhere you go, that's for sure. You don't have to worry about anybody disrespecting you in terms of just calling you anything other than Mr.
Right, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. And then I can say either.
Yeah.
Call me Mr. I have to. All right. And your name?
Robert. Bob, Robert.
All right, sir, Mr. You're suing your former friend for $3,000 for a breach of contract?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, tell me what's going on. Whether you all know each other, your friendship?
Well, really, I should have known, when I met Wallowich, we were, in a college environment that, maybe he might have been a little wild and irresponsible. But I never thought that he would try and, stick his friend out of $3,000. I met him, it would have been the beginning of 2008, and became friends, had a few drinks or whatever. And from then on, we were always, throwing parties, this, that, and the other, booze, mischief, women. It was kind of commonplace at that time.
How about a little studying? Did that ever enter the picture?
Pretty good in school.
All right.
I'm sure it was in there.
You maintain your schooling, though? You graduate?
I didn't.
You?
I did.
All right. Good. You must drink less. Go ahead.
But, a lot of times we're kind of like Animal House, with John Belushi. That's a lot of times we're just like that. And matter of fact, one time we were drinking and Wallowich lost a bet and ended up having to kiss my bare butt. And
you don't believe in these crazy bets.
Well,
go ahead. You had to change your name over a bet legally.
I don't know what the bet was, and I don't know who made that up. But that's how it happened. I know there's picture evidence somewhere. I don't know where.
It started out.
Sir?
My girlfriend at the time.
I always tell people when they come in here, say no to crack. Like that. Go ahead.
That's really,
Just register with a few folks. Go ahead.
The whole kiss in the butt situation
Go ahead.
was, he was bet that a metal baton, that police officers have, wouldn't bend over his butt. And I said, if it bends over your butt, I'll kiss your bare butt. Well, my girlfriend at the time bent a baton over his butt. And I had to kiss his bare butt, and somebody took a picture of it and posted it on Facebook.
You
I will tell you now.
You just told him I don't smoke or kiss crack. Go ahead. What is the money about? $3,000 for a breach of contract.
Robert came to me in February 2009, and he said, there's a truck I want to get. I don't have the money for it. Maybe you could lend me $3,000. And I said, okay, well, you're a friend. I'll loan you the $3,000. However, I expect it to be paid in full on or before May 31st of that year, 2009. He said, that's fine. I've got my other truck. I'm selling it right now. As soon as it sells, I'll give you the money. I said, okay, that sounds fair. I talked to him on a regular basis, so it made sense. May came, nothing. He called me in June and he said, okay, I sold my truck. He said, but my truck I bought needs repairs. So can I have some of the money to fix it, get back and forth to work, and survive? I said, go ahead. I was out of state at the time for some military training. I said, you do what you got to do. August, I'm going to need you to pay that money back. At one point or another, I'm going to need it. And he said, okay. August came, nothing, hadn't heard from him. And then after that, I just chased, I had to chase him all over the place, call our old friends, call, his ex-fiance.
He hasn't paid you anything yet?
Not to this day. I got a hold of him through Facebook, and he actually replied, and he said he didn't have the money, and that he didn't know if he was going to be able to have the money. I said, look, I need it. I can't wait forever, so I'm going to take you to court. And he said, okay. And
That's terrible, sir. Tell me about this money. You borrowed this from your buddy and didn't pay him a dime?
Thing was, I went to Mr. and I told him about this truck. He said, I tell you what, I would like for you to have that truck. If you want that truck, I will borrow you the $3,000. I said, really? He says, yeah, take me to the bank. Took him to the bank. He pulled out the money, and I went and bought the truck. So at that time, the vehicle I was driving, I was in the process of selling it back to the guy I bought it from. And he was going to make payments to me, and I was going to make payments to Mr. Mr. didn't want little payments. He wanted lump sums at a time so he didn't have to write a bunch of receipts. And the reason why I didn't pay him is I couldn't get a hold of him. At the time my mom died, I had to move back to Michigan to take care of some family business and lost all contacts of anybody. Now he got a hold of me in April, and
you told him you couldn't pay him, though.
After 4 years, I pretty much figured the contract was void,
Do you have a written agreement that says that it was voided after 4 years?
I have a written agreement that says he owes it to me still.
Let me see that, right. Sir, you should be ashamed of yourself to come in here and try and get off on that after you acknowledge owing your friend $3,000, and your only defense today is, well, it's been 4 years ago. I shouldn't have to owe him now. The law is void. Is this, is that. What about your moral obligation to your buddy?
It's not necessarily that. It was, I moved back to Michigan, tried taking care of some family business, ended up having a baby.
Well, you could have at least said, I'll pay you some. I have a family now. I'm living out of state. Can I give you $100 a month, $200, $300 a month? Nothing. You're just coming here with a technicality. Judgment for the plaintiff, $3,000. Have a good day.
As far as I'm concerned, we can still be friends. A little bit of money here and there is not an issue. I don't have an issue, lending it out as long as I get it back. And if I get it back, it's fine. So I have no problem kicking it with him.
Where are we getting a beer?
No, I don't hang out with people your stature.
Plaintiff Brandy Matthews met the defendant 2 years ago, and she says he's a trick master because he tries to buy women's love, but instead he's always getting tricked out of his money. Brandy's suing her former friend for unpaid rent. Defendant Darnell Law says Brandy is a sexual freak who often brags about having threesomes and sleeping with married men. Darnell's countersuing Brandy for harassment.
Start with you.
Okay, I first met Darnell like 2 years ago through a mutual friend that actually lives next door. Darnell's a little bit of like a trick master. That's the person that like buys women things when the women really don't have the intention of even being with that person.
Where's the master part come in? I know what a trick is, but a lot of men are tricks, but what's the master part? That mean you're a big trick? Or
I guess he's a big trick then.
Oh, okay, all right. Go ahead. He's a big trick because he pays women for their company?
Well, I know he buys them things. Like he bought an iPad, and he gives it to the young lady, and I guess she took pictures of her and her boyfriend on it. So he gets it from her, and he comes to my apartment, and he's telling me about it, and then he asks me, do you want to take over the payments on this? Payments?
So you didn't even buy the iPad? You got it from rental center?
Go ahead.
So then he gets into a fight in the apartment complex with some guy over his girl or whatever. So they get into a fight
over the guy's girl.
Yes. Like he messes with other men, girlfriends, I guess wives or whoever. So he gets into a fight out there, and the guy beats him up. So his comeback was to go to his truck and get a pipe or a crowbar and throws it like a little girl to the man. So he's in the apartment, which is no problem. Him and his friend, every time I came, because I left all my stuff, my items in there too.
Whose apartment?
It's my apartment. I come to the apartment, and there's some pots and pans on the stove. They got food in it, which is nothing. But when I come back that next following week, it's still there. No, not my pots and pans. First of all, Judge, I paid $300 for those pots and pans. I actually put it on layaway at Kmart to get them. I'm a big girl, I like to eat, and I like to cook good. So therefore I had to get it's more expensive pots. So I get there and the food is still on it. It has mold in it, so I'm angry about it. Well, basically the pots and stuff, all that come from basically about him being basically disgusted in my apartment.
All right, he's nasty. That's what you're trying to say?
Yes, sir.
All right, and that you like to eat and you're a big girl.
Yes,
That was your other point. You said that, didn't you?
Yes,
all right,
yes.
very
I'm from
good.
Mississippi.
All right.
I love to eat.
Do you work out also? All right, we need you to work out so you can be healthy. Because eating a lot and not working out is a health hazard.
I work a lot. Does that count?
Yeah, after you to work 24 hours?
Oh, I work sometimes more than that.
More than 24 hours. It's only 24 hours in a day.
In one day. And
all right. So you work more than the amount of hours that are available in a day.
I have to go to some of my clients'
All right,
houses.
ma'am, there's only 24 hours in a day. You can't work more than 24 hours in one day.
Yes, sir.
Lord have mercy. Let me hear from you.
Well, she's a real freak. She has this sex calendar on her wall stating moan day, wet day, freak day. And she just goes around talking about how she has threesome with women and she sleeps with other people's men. They're married men.
He's just jealous.
What? Thank you.
All right.
But anyway, she goes around sleeping with other people's husbands and whatnot. And she talks about having threesomes. And she just talks about she's so up, high, tidy, and this and that. But she shops at Walmart. The way she actually get it from Tiffany's.
Oh, she acts highfalutin.
Exactly.
All right. Otherwise known as ghetto fabulous.
Ghetto fabulous. And she's not even really ghetto fabulous. She's just wow.
Let's hear about the rent you're suing him for.
Okay. First of all, Your Honor, when he first moved into the apartment, I told him, he moved in June the 11th. I told him, you have to pay this month rent. I told him, you have to pay. How
much?
It was $400. He paid $200 that month. July, he pays nothing. And then when the key was given around the key.
Back to you?
Yes, sir.
Under what terms? Why?
Because I told him since he wasn't going to pay it, he needed to get out.
Did he agree to leave?
Yes, sir.
All right. Sir?
Yeah, first of all, that month, I wasn't supposed to pay for that month I moved in.
What month?
June.
All right.
Agreement month of June was I move in, I give her $200 for July.
And what about August?
August, I wasn't there for August.
When did you move?
I left July 9th.
All right. And did you give her 30-day notice, or she had already asked you to move?
She already asked me to
And
move.
you had said you would?
Right.
All right. Ma'am, when did he move?
He moved August, between the 13th and the 15th.
Okay. And so he stayed half of that month. And did you all discuss him paying half of the month?
I told him he owed me $200.
And what did he say to you?
He told me okay. He started texting me.
Anyway, I can determine when you left. Anyone have any independent evidence?
Yes,
because
sir.
that's the key issue. And the other issue is you say she gave you June free. Why do you think she would give you June free?
Because when she first came to me with wanted me to sublease her place, she said she paid June already. Don't worry about it.
I know, but why wouldn't you have to reimburse her?
She didn't say that.
It was a gift.
Not even a gift. She needed somebody moving there real fast. Because she had her other place she wanted to take over. So she's like, all right, June's fine. Just pay me for July, which is why I gave her $200.
Okay, and is that true or not?
No, sir. I had someone else that was going to give me $400 up front because he was my friend and he worked close by the place. So I was thinking, okay, you got a good job, so okay, I'll let you move in, but you have to pay me this.
And so who has evidence as to how long he stayed?
What it was, I didn't get my key. he gave my key to one of his friends.
When?
Around August. That's how I didn't get the key until after.
Sir, when did you give her the key?
I gave her the key at the end of July.
Did you give me the key?
No, I didn't give her the key.
Who did you give the key
I gave
to?
it to my friend.
Well,
Because
then you do owe for August. When you give your key to your friend, sir, that's not her. You owe her. Your friend had nothing to do with it. Let's get to your counterclaim. $500 for harassment. How does she owe you?
with the harassment, it comes in, how I found out about she was harassing me, she called my friend and was stating to him she's gonna beat me up and this and that, and she's gonna harass me and make my life.
What did you do?
What did I do? I didn't do nothing. I just left it alone. I just stayed away from her.
So what
I
has
didn't answer her
happened?
phone calls. After that, she's stating that, I'm gonna get my boyfriend to beat you up and come to your job, get you fired, and I'm gonna get you kicked out of your apartment.
Did
where
any
you
of
stay
that
at.
happen?
No, it didn't.
How did you respond to her?
I didn't respond back to her at all on the phone. All I said was, why are you gonna go do that? For what?
Okay, and that's it.
Yeah, basically, she's like,
Ma'am, did you harass him
No.
and threaten him?
No. I called him and I told him, because I lost the paper with his real name on it. So I asked him to give it to me. He wouldn't give it to me. So I told him I was gonna come up there with the police to get his real name.
Come where?
To his job. If he didn't give it to me, I was gonna come up there to his
Did
job
you?
with the police. No.
What did you do?
I didn't do nothing. I
All
took my
right.
butt to work.
Good enough. Sir, she didn't do anything to cause you any harm. Had you taken those threats seriously, you would have called the police or taken some other action to protect yourself. You didn't. Therefore, we're not going to conclude that that's harassment. I will conclude that you owe her the $800 in unpaid rent. Have a good day. $800 to the plaintiff.
Thank you. I told you I was gonna get my money one way or another.
you lying.
One way or another, I'm gonna get my money, and I got my money. That's all I wanted was my money. You mad?
I'm not mad.
You mad because I wouldn't sleep with you?
No, I don't want you. Why would I want you?
Oh, because you know you couldn't get me, because that's like working out for real. Because me and you getting together, that's too much to do.